First, I want to begin by asking you about your latest piece, I should say, which warns against the potential dangers of rewarding violence with statehood in the context of the Gaza conflict. Can you tell me a little bit more about this opinion and why you shared it?
I wrote this opinion piece because we've seen that there was a difference of opinion between the American position and the Israeli position as to the role of the Palestinian Authority in Gaza on the day after the war. The Palestinian Authority right now, which is ruling Judea and Samaria, is a group which promotes terror, educates to terror, sponsors terror. They actually pay salaries to terrorists according to the number of people that they killed. That includes also the murderers of Hadassah Fogel, a 3-month-old baby that was killed in her crib. They paid the terrorists that did that terrorist act a salary. Israel is very much against the idea of giving control of the Gaza Strip to this Palestinian Authority, this terror-supporting Palestinian Authority, but there is international pressure to do so. And so I decided to write this opinion piece in The Hill, a website, as you know, that is focused on decision makers in Capitol Hill, in order to give our side of the story and make people understand why it's so problematic and to give the Gaza Strip to a terror-supporting organization.
It always strikes me that more people across the sea do not believe in a two-state solution being a smart and safe path forward. Tell me your thoughts when people provide that argument, despite the obvious risks that are involved.
Listen, two states is something that's been tried before. We went through the Oslo agreements. Israel even evacuated Gaza in the hopes for peace. And what we saw is that whenever we retreated from some land, this land was grabbed by terror groups, just like Hamas, and used in order to do horrible massacres, just like we've seen on October 7th. The definition of being ridiculous or idiotic is to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. And so that's what we see the world trying to push Israel into doing. I think that also in this specific timing, right after the October 7th massacre, where Hamas did one of the most horrible massacres against humanity that we can remember, burning babies alive, raping children and flaunting them around, kidnapping the elderly that, as I've said, 80 days after are still held without medication. If after this, the result of this massacre is giving the Palestinians a state, that would tell history that massacres work, that terrorism works, that if you use terror, you can have some political gains, some diplomatic gains. And this is a horrible message to give history, because it then invites more terror and more violence and more massacres. And that's exactly the opposite message that we in the free world need to give.
Understand your point. I think you made it clearly.